Hey, welcome into Shockerland. I'm Billy. Kyle is with me. Kyle, we are here. It is the Cincinnati game.
Woo, it's about time.
It was a little scary there for a little bit with Temple again, but the Shockers got the job done. Thank you, Shaq Morris, Daryl Willis, and a few others as well. The Shockers pulled off an amazing comeback to reach this point. Let's talk about this Cincinnati game.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Cincinnati's the cream of the crop, so to speak. They're number one in the conference. With a loss, coming off a loss, let's start there, okay? So Wichita State plays Cincinnati in Cincinnati on Sunday, 3 o'clock on ESPN, but Cincinnati now has that blemish on their record. Houston got them. Does that change things as far as what this matchup means and the attitude of Cincinnati coming into this game?
I think it does, really.
Okay.
Not only in the conference standings, because now the Shockers are just 2 games behind.
Yeah.
Which is helpful, which means the Shockers control their own destiny now.
That's right.
But it also, for me, it showed that Cincinnati is not as good as their Ken Palm numbers and their rankings indicate. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at their schedule this year, almost every good opponent they faced, they've lost to. They got blown out by Xavier early in the season. They lost to Florida. And they lost to Houston on the road. Now, they did beat Houston at home.
They did, yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
There was a chance Houston should have won that one. And they did beat UCLA and Mississippi State. And those are 2 kind of bubble teams right now. Mm-hmm. So they don't really have a great win on their resume. So for me, they're a great team, no doubt about it, but they haven't proven it yet at the top level.
They've taken care of business with the games they should have won for the most part, but their schedule, similar to Wichita State, is kind of backloaded with the heaviest stuff at the end.
That's true.
So the top 2 teams, Wichita State and Cincinnati, are playing each other here twice in the final couple weeks of the season. So that's what we're seeing. So all the hype, Cincinnati has long been ranked better than Wichita State because Wichita State had that week, just a bad week. I don't want to talk about it, but that's what happened. And it seems like Wichita State is back now. So I think, and we've talked about this before, we look at, I'm not a gambler, but I look at Vegas numbers because Vegas, they do their homework,
they
right?
Sure do, yeah.
They know better than most analysts who are just talking about it. Vegas, when there's money on the line, they care a little bit more about it, so they pay attention.
Yeah.
Wichita State has been a favorite in every game so far. I don't think that streak continues. I think Cincinnati is the favorite in this game. We haven't seen the numbers yet, but I think it's likely Cincinnati will be the favorite. Any guess on how many? What's going to be the expectations from Vegas?
Well, I agree with you that Cincinnati is going to be the favorite.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be between a 1 and 3 point favorite.
Ooh, so close.
So it's going to be close.
Yeah.
Vegas knows the Shockers are playing probably the best this entire season right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so Shockers are playing their best right now, and Cincinnati coming off of a tough loss on the road. So it'll be an interesting matchup.
Let me ask you this as we go in here. What kind of team is Cincinnati? The Shockers, we've kind of just accepted now they're not that defensive great team anymore. They win because they score. They score a lot of points. And they can because they have the talent. Not only can Reeves go off or maybe Connor or Austin, Landry Shamet, but also then we saw against the Temple game, Shaq Morris was amazing. Daryl Willis Jr. Scored some points. So they're going to score a lot of points. Cincinnati, they're going to rely on their defense, or are they similar where they're just going to try to score a lot of points?
These 2 teams, Shockers and the Bearcats, are kind of opposites.
Oh, okay.
Shockers are ranked 11th on Ken Palm for offense. Their defense is in the 70s. Cincinnati, their offense is in the mid-50s, and their defense is number 2 in the nation.
Interesting.
So Bearcats are a great defensive team. Sometimes they struggle offensively. I know in the Houston game, it was between 10 to 12 minutes without a made field goal.
Yeah.
Now, they were fouled a lot in that span, but still, they have streaks during games this season where they just struggle to score. And they're better offensively than they have been in previous seasons under Mick Cronin, but they're not the offensive juggernaut that the Shockers are.
Yeah.
So we'll see which wins out in this matchup, great offense or great defense.
So that means when the Shockers have the ball, that's the big thing to watch.
Exactly.
Are the Shockers going to be able to score, or is Cincinnati going to be able to stop them? What happens on the other end of the floor, so be it, whatever. But there's where the high-quality matchup is. I like what I've seen from the Shockers when it comes to their ability to score. Yes, in that Temple game that they just played, they were down 14 at halftime, but it's because Temple had the like
They
four guys
shot
had
the
the
best half
career
of the
games.
season,
Yes.
yes.
That's not, you can't game plan against that. It's
No.
tough to guard. That happens sometimes. But it's nobody's fault. I don't think you look at the Shockers and say, "Oh, how terrible you played." That's not the case. Houston or Temple just played lights out for a half. In this case, I like what the Shockers can do scoring. I like the options they have. I like the options they can bring off the bench. They have 6, 7, 8, 9 guys who can score.
Yeah, for sure. And Cincinnati is led by two great players, several great players actually, but their two primary weapons are Gary Clark and the other guy that I just now forgot. So that's not very helpful. But it's in here someplace.
Think highly of you, Cincinnati. We don't even remember your names.
But they're just a very big, talented, and physical team. And if you watch them play, this is a man's team. Like they're all just really big. They're physical. They're athletic, and so I think the Shockers are a little bit deeper. And you mentioned how we have some scorers that can probably create problems for them.
Yeah.
And so I just, this is tough game for me to predict.
Yeah.
Because I am a Shockers fan, but it's going to be tough game to win on the road.
Before this week's events, you would say I just like a split against Cincinnati. You
Yes.
play them on the road, you play them at home. It would be nice to have a split. But now that the potential is there to at least finish in a tie for first place in the conference, being 2 games back on Cincinnati, sure would be nice to knock them off twice and climb into that number 1 spot. How likely is that possibility that Wichita State just sweeps Cincinnati?
It's not likely.
Okay.
Just if I were a betting man, I would say the odds of that happening are 20 to 30%.
Oh,
but
it's low.
It's possible.
It's low. Okay.
I know the Shockers have the talent to do it if they just put it all together for 40 minutes at Cincinnati and then do it again at home. They can. I know they can. It's just they've had spurts this season where their shots aren't falling, or they have spurts where they give up a ton of points in a row. And so they have to have their A game both times against Cincinnati.
What I'm interested to see is the Shockers, for the first time this season, are the underdogs. They were always the underdogs in previous years because no one respected them nationally. No one looked at them.
Yeah.
Now they've gotten the national respect. They've been the favorite every time they've taken the court. Not so now. What do you think this version of the Shockers, that these players, how do you think they will play as underdogs?
I think they're going to thrive, actually.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that until you asked that, but you have some guys on the team like Rashard Kelly, Zach Brown, guys that really have that play angry motto about them, and they like that role of the underdog. I know some of these other players that have come along later maybe not have that underdog role as much because they've been winning their whole careers. But some of the senior guys, like Shaq even, they thrive under that, and they want to prove people wrong. And so they're going to go out there Sunday. It's going to be a hostile environment on national television, on ESPN. And so they're going to say, hey, we're not expected to win this game. Let's prove them wrong.
So, does it require of the Shockers to return to play angry style? We proclaimed play angry was dead because they were not the underdogs anymore, and they didn't have to play angry because they were respected now. Do they have to return to play angry? And here's why. Shaq Morris, he's not that good unless he's playing angry, okay? Can I say that? Is that okay to say? Because he did play
For him,
angry.
It's all upstairs.
It is. He played angry
Yes,
against Temple, especially in that comeback, and he was the reason they were able to erase that 14-point deficit. I think we need Shaq to play angry. We need some guys to play angry. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just as importantly with Shaq, we need him to play angry and stay out of foul trouble.
Be engaged.
Those are the two keys for him because he has the talent. You saw it against Temple. He took over that game for minutes upon minutes.
Yep.
And so he might be the key to this game as well, him and Shamet. And so this team's going to have to play angry and just embrace that underdog role that they haven't been used to.
I cannot wait. In Cincinnati, Sunday, 3 o'clock Central Time on ESPN.